Welcome to the Clean Speech Challenge. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, and I'm so excited to bring you the Clean Speech Challenge. Over the next few days, we are going to hear from experts around the world inspiring ideas about how we can improve our relationships with our words. And each day, we're going to get one short, actionable item that we can take into our life and use it to upgrade the way we talk to others. And while we're doing it, there's going to be opportunities to create community and win prizes. Check out the show notes for details. Day one, I'm so excited to launch this challenge with Jordana from Drink It In Jordana.
I'm so excited that you are here and you're like, can't think of anyone better to launch this exciting challenge with. So just to give everyone a little bit of an idea of what the Clean Speech Challenge is. So the Clean Speech project actually is a project that was started, I believe, in Colorado. This idea, it was a movement that was started to just encourage people to, use their words in a healthy, positive manner. And this year in the UK, it's become a big project in the UK. And as part of what we're doing for it is we're doing a challenge where every day we're going to hear from a different person, and they're going to share with us some insights and also give us a little bit of a challenge that we can take with us, and hopefully we can just action these into our days and into our lives, and just you really harness the power of our words. So Jordana, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. First of all, Gil, thank you so much. This is not the first time we're doing a live together. And every time I'm like, oh, I gotta meet her. I gotta get over to England, or you gotta get over here or something. But I just love these connections and these positive relationships that have been forming and developing over Instagram. And it's really beautiful, based on Torah and growth. And that's really me. The whole concept of my brand of Drink It In is that we can never get enough inspiration. We can never get enough Torah. And the idea is that just keep on drinking it in, everybody. Just keep on. You got it. Get more of it. And that's my idea. And when I saw that you wanted to do this challenge, I was like, right away, I reached out to you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in. Like, how can I participate? And if I could say, like, could I start off with that story that I had in mind, you don't even know the story yet, but I told you I had this story that I wanted to share that really comes to mind. Can I do that? Can I go for it?
Please. Yes,
okay.
Jump into it.
Okay, so many years ago, when I lived in a different home, I remember I think my son was now 22. This is how we're going to gauge it. He must have been 4 or 5 at the time, okay? That's how long ago. I remember I go in front, in my lawn in front, and I see a snake. There's a snake in front of my house on my lawn. Now, okay, I'm a little weird, and I was like, oh my gosh, my husband loves snakes, and my son is into snakes. I'm going to catch it for them so they could have a snake, like they could see it, like I'm so into this, like, okay, I'm going to do this for them. And I caught the snake. I put it in the bucket, and I put it in the bucket, and then when my husband came home, I was like, I got a snake for you. And I told my son, I got a snake for you. Like, oh, I'm like the hero. And craziness. Anyway, that makes it even crazier. Fast forward several months, and I'm in Israel. God willing, I'm going to be going very soon. Anybody hear this from Israel? I'm going to be there next week. And
what happened to that snake in the bucket? We all need to know.
Okay, what happened was there was one of our neighbors was like an animal trainer thing, and it probably was one of their snakes that got loose. And I went to him, and he's like, oh, let me take that snake back. I said, but my son's going to be so upset. He wants the snake. He says, no worries. He puts the real snake in his pocket, and from another pocket, he takes out a fake snake. He puts it back in the bucket. And he says, just tell your son it's sleeping. So that's what we did. It only lasted for a few hours. He's like, it's not waking up. Okay. He knows that we.
That's my kind of snake.
That's your kind of snake. So anyway, so fast forward. This is the point where it connects to language and speech.
Yeah.
I'm in Israel by my brother and my sister-in-law. Wonderful, most amazing people in Ramat Beit Shemesh. And all of a sudden, I'm visiting with my sister-in-law. She says, Jordana, give me 2 minutes. I have this new practice of learning 2 laws of Lashon Hara every day. I said, really? She says, yes, it's the craziest story. I'll tell you afterwards. So then she tells me, she says, you know, one day I opened up my door, my front door, and lo and behold, you know what was on my doorstep was a snake. And I'm like, no way, you're making this up. I said, it happened to me also. Like, it was around the same time. She's like, yeah, I saw this snake. And I said, and she says, and I was trying to think, why would God have this snake by, like, why right when I opened up the door? She says, and what is a snake in the Bible, in the Torah represents? It always represents Lashon Hara, evil speech. It represents something not positive, right? How the snake tricked Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava in the garden. When Moshe puts his hand in his coat and brings it out, or in the sign that he takes his stick and he throws it down, it turns into a snake. All of these are supposed to be representation of when he spoke bad about the people. And he said, they're not going to believe me. They're not going to listen to me. So the snake has this character trait of trickery and evil speech. So she says, like, obviously God put it there for me to tell me that I need to work on my speech. So I said,
wow.
Wow, right? Like, I'm like, you're such a tzaddikus. You're so amazing. I said, I don't know. I saw the snake and I caught it from my husband and my son. I didn't think it was a lesson to be learned.
You know what? I still think,
right.
I still think you're incredible that you thought to catch it for your husband and your son. Like,
right?
I probably would have seen it and like just gone, right?
I'm a little cuckoo that way. But anyway, so that was my snake story. So when I always remember that incident, and I realized that it hit me that I needed to be more mindful. Now I'm getting a little bit more serious. I needed to be more mindful of things that are happening in my life. Like things that I would have taken for granted. This is what my sister-in-law taught me without realizing she taught it to me. That when things are happening in my life, I should take a moment to pause. I should stop and think. Someone said they would have moved. I don't know. Then I lost the comment. I now realize I need to take a moment to pause and a moment to think that when something happens, it's not haphazard. Like I was just thinking so frivolously, and maybe the way my sister-in-law was thinking about it, she took action based on something that occurred to her. And so I truly believe that when it comes to speech, there are so many things we could do. Now, you could stop me at any moment in time, Gil, if you want. But, you know, one of the things that I think is so great, why not make our own moments? Why not make our own mindful pauses and times? Like when I was messaging back and forth with Gila, one of the things I was telling Gila, when my children were very small and I was a working mom, how would I like infuse the love and the affection? I had it in my head. Every time I put my child in a car seat or I buckled them in the car, I gave them a kiss. And then when I took them out, because here I was leaning in, going over them, I would lean in, give them a kiss, tell them I love them. And I knew like then at least twice a day, I'm sure I did it more than that, but these were mental reminders that I set up for myself to constantly remind them. And it was done by a certain physical action that then correlated to me speaking a certain way. And these were mental reminders. So I started making my own mental reminders. And I think it's so important, you know, like, what is that? I don't know if they have that in England. I'm going to be very American. A yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. I think that was like it was a song that even back then they used to, for reminders before cell phones, right? And we have these alarms going off. You know, people used to have the yellow ribbon, always represented these reminders that people would do. They put a yellow ribbon or yellow string on as a bracelet or on them as something to remind them to do something. And I think it'd be so great if we did the same thing with speech. And I'm not saying, oh, stop negative. I'm saying let's do more positive. You know,
and I think
what do you want to say?
I think what you did was so clever, because I don't know if you've heard of this. I'm not sure. There's a book called Atomic Habits where he talks about the idea that, you know, so often we want to start a new habit, right? We know how important it is to speak positively. We know how important it is to tell the people that we live with or we're close to, or the people that matter to us, that they matter to us. But it's so hard to start that new habit, right? And what you did is kind of like habit stacking, right? when you're going out, putting your kid in a car seat is a habit, right?
Right.
So what you're taking is a new habit that you want to incorporate and stacking it onto an old habit. And I think it's like it's so powerful because you're sort of, it's like that yellow ribbon that you said, but instead of having to find a new yellow ribbon, you've already got that habit,
Right.
that yellow ribbon that you do, and you're bringing in this new habit, this like new, I'm gonna, just do that one extra. And I'm sure it made such an impression. I'm curious if you ever asked your kids what their memories of are going in the car are, and whether that they'll feed that back to you about.
It's interesting because I haven't had another habit, and now I do with my grandson. So I do ask him about it because it's so funny. Because when I do with my grandson's turning 6. And he lives right nearby, and I spend a lot of time with him. And so when I go for walks with him, I had another thing that I used to do with my children. When I would hold their hands, I would give a squeeze.
Right.
And squeeze, I told them, you know what that squeeze means? That's me sending you a message that I love you. And so when I would walk with them, I would squeeze their hands, and then they would squeeze it back. And they felt so excited because they felt like there's a secret going on that nobody knew about. Like, right? That's very enticing to them. And so when I walk with my grandson, what I love, I told him about this. I said, you know what I used to do with your mom when she was little? I used to hold her hand and I would squeeze it. And that meant that I love her. So now I just went for a walk with him this past Shabbat, and he starts squeezing my hand and he goes, Grandma. Letting me know that he's letting me know he loves me.
You got it.
Yeah, he got it. So I know that one little thing, certain children definitely remembered that. So they did speak to me, and I do try to carry that on. I think that's so beautiful that I'm so privileged, blessed, honored to carry that over to the next generation. And there's no greater feeling than that. So so for that I did. I mean, I haven't asked my other children about that. Sometimes they only tell you the negative, I must say. Like, we remember this and this and this. So but that's really what it's like with children sometimes. Yeah. But it is a great discussion. You're right, Gila. I think it's an important discussion to have, because it's always important to talk to the people around us, not only our children, but even the people that we're close to, have connections, to know what messages we're giving over. Because sometimes we think we're giving a certain message. We think we are a certain way, but we're really not. So I think that is a crucial, amazing, growth-oriented discussion to have. Like, you say to somebody, when you think of me, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, what do you think about? And then people say, oh, you're a thankful person. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's an interesting idea. I had, and one of my children, when they're in 7th grade, they had one teacher that asked them to come up with their family motto. What did he or she think? Like, right. What do you think your family motto is? Like, if someone asked me that, I would say my mother always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. It's like that was like ingrained in my head. So same thing with you'd ask your children, and then you really get to know what is the message you're giving over, and you'll be like,
you're giving them over. Yeah.
Right. And that's what you're exuding. So that's a great question, Gila. And I think it's a great exercise to do. So
true.
Yeah.
Jordana, if I can ask you, so you've given us some really good ideas, stories. What's the one action that you want us to take? And I'm just going to take a second to explain to everyone how the challenge is going to work. So basically, there is a link to sign up to the challenge. You'll get emails every day, and what's going to happen is every day we have a different inspirational person who's going to come and give us a short idea with one actionable item, and then there are 3 prizes to be won. The first prize that's going to happen is everyone that completes every task and just lets me know that you've completed it is going to get entered into a raffle. There's also a Facebook group that is set up specially for this challenge, where you can go in and you can tell us about when you've done the action, if you have any cool stories that came out of it, and just cheer each other on. And there's going to be one winner of what's called the Community Champion prize, the person who's in that group who just cheers everyone else on. I'm going to be opening up that group later on on this evening where you can put in the task and you can cheer each other on. And the third prize that's going to be given is a prize for whoever brings the most people into the challenge. You just message me and then I'll let you know. Each of those prizes is a £36 Amazon voucher, or if anyone is not in the UK, the equivalent currency where you are. So what is, Jordana, what is the challenge that you'd like to give us today? And anyone that's listening, you have until next Monday to do the task.
Okay, so based on what we were discussing, focusing on positive speech and focusing on different moments, and like you were saying, this atomic habits and already habits that you might already have, and based on my brand of Drink It In, and it's not alcohol. Okay. So, yeah, I'm with my cup of coffee. So most people have coffee in the morning, and if it's not a coffee that you have in the morning, and if it's something else, another habit that you already do in the morning, whether it could be a tea or it could be just simply having a yogurt, whatever it is, when you have that moment, I want you to be able to sit and consciously think of something positive that you're going to say to somebody else today. While you're drinking that coffee, you're gonna, if your parents are still alive, you're gonna say, you know what, after this, or while I'm drinking my coffee, I'm gonna give a call to my mom and just say, thank you so much for X, Y, and Z. You were amazing at this. Or you're going to do it for your spouse or your child or a coworker, whatever it might be. You're going to focus on saying something positive, saying a good word, a compliment, something that will boost somebody else's day, and focus on our clean, positive speech by already attaching it to a habit of yours that you already have. So it could be whatever habit you want, but I do it with coffee. And however you want to attach it to whatever habit that you're already doing, focus on something positive and make a positive moment through your speech as well. I'm glad somebody thinks it's great. I see a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions, right, they could ask us, Gila, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If anyone has any, firstly, I love it. I love the collaboration of the two brands, the Clean Speech and the Drink It In. You know, you get whatever you're drinking in the morning, you're gonna use your Clean Speech for. So it's brilliant. Yeah. If anyone has any questions,
is this supposed to be done every day, Gila, or at least?
Okay. So here's the thing. So in terms of the challenge itself, to enter into the challenge, the idea is to do it at least once, right? Just because we're trying to make it easy, and the idea also is that over the week you'll try different things and you'll see which one works for you, fits for you.
With you best, right? Okay, so they only do once the whole week.
Yeah, you have to do it at least once. If you do it every day, brilliant. And I love this one because I think this is such an easy habit that we can fall into, and such a great way to start the day. I know my morning is always a coffee, and it's something that, it's a habit you can fall into. Coffee, say something nice, right? Text something nice, call someone nice. Right. I think it's really, really, really fabulous. I'm really excited about this. Thank you, Jordana.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Anyone have any last minute questions for us? Everyone will think I'm a changed person. Good, great. I hope
brilliant, Nicola.
What was the bad speech of the Torah related to leprosy? That was the punishment that you got when you spoke poorly. That was the punishment. Yeah. If you're asking why leprosy, it was the punishment. It was something purely spiritual. Leprosy was something purely spiritual. It wasn't necessarily something physical. That's why the priest is the one who determines if you had leprosy or not a doctor. So it's definitely a whole totally spiritual spin on that. So.
And it was also a reminder to improve on our speech. And I think Lashon Hara is a challenge for a lot of us, unfortunately.
Yes. Right. And sometimes this is taking it on a spin. Meaning a lot of times when Lashon Hara is such a challenge for people, they're so focused on what they shouldn't say and they can't say. What I'm presenting is, put that on the shelf for a second. Focus on the good that you could say to somebody. It's like a mind tweak.
Thank you so much, Jordana. That was really, really great. I can't wait for my morning cup of coffee tomorrow, and I'll be thinking of you and everyone else. Okay, amazing. Great. Yes, that's the idea, to be a new, better person every day, a little bit better.
A little bit better. That's it. Just a little bit. Don't overextend yourself too much. Just a little bit.
Exactly. Thank you. Thanks so much, Jordana. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I can't wait to hear how the challenge went for you. You can email me, gilaross@gmail.com. And please take a moment to rate, review, subscribe, and share this challenge with anyone else who will benefit from it. Thank you and have a wonderful day.